Justin.
1, 2,
3, 4, 5,
6.
Hi, my name is Merrisa, Castor.
And I'm Ashley Butler, and we're here to show you our presentation on Egypt today. The first thing we're going to talk about is the history of Egypt. The official language as of now, currently, is Arabic. English and French is only understood by higher educated class, which is people who are, I guess you could consider them more as royalty, which can afford to send their children to better schools and to teach them more things than what normal people learn. The geography on Egypt, it is actually located in the northeast corner of Africa, which is the upper right-hand corner, as you can see in the picture. Something that I learned personally from doing this report was that it is the size of France and Germany combined, which is about 1 million square kilometers, which is pretty big. 78 million, which is a highly populated area for it to be that size. The climate, as y'all can tell from pictures from Egypt and different things that you guys have learned, it is hot, very hot, and sunny for most of the year with very mild winters, which means it doesn't get very cold at all. Their winters are usually shorter than ours, and they last from about November to February.
Alright, the pyramids, they're obviously it's Egypt, and there's a lot of pyramids throughout the country. It's one of the major ones is the Pyramid of Giza, which is the most attractive pyramid in Egypt. It is represented to be one of the greatest features made by man, and it's the last surviving member of the 7 wonders of the world. It is one of the oldest and one of the most popularly visited. Alright, and another one is Abu Simbel. 2 temples are built for the pharaoh Ramesses II, and it is an attraction that most people have visited since the Victorian times. It is very, very old, just like the Pyramid of Giza. It's moved from the original location, and it's next to the Giza now.
Within our research, that they tend to bury items such as animals or gold or treasures or anything that they thought that was significant to the royalty in their period with them. It's not really burying them technically, but when they preserve them, they bury specific items. So they would actually mummify their pets to
Stay with them in the afterlife.
yeah, so that way that they could have everything that they needed and everything that they cherished in the afterlife with them as well. Now we're going to go with religion. It is the guided aspect of the Egyptian life, and it is based, originally it was based upon polytheistic theism, or the worship of many deities. There we go, I can never do it. They actually had as many as 2,000 gods or goddesses that they worshiped. So it wasn't specifically just one person, how most Christians are used to, and that's one of our main religions here in the United States. They were often represented as half human and half animal. So all these pictures that you see, I know I've seen plenty of them where they look like a normal person, and like the bottom half of them is like an elephant or something. The temples were considered dwelling places for the gods, and that's where they went to worship.
Alright, 94% of the population is Muslim now, and 6% is Christian and other religions. The other religions could be anything from like Buddhism or anything that they study in Africa. Alright, the economy, most of the economic activity takes place near the Nile Valley, which is the river, and Cairo wants to reform to encourage inflows of the foreign investment. They want to make sure that everything is put together. They want all the government to be involved in it because it is starting to expand. And the foreign direct investments have increased significantly in the past 2 years, and the main source of revenue is the natural gas. Natural gas is increasing throughout the United States, and it's starting to go throughout all of the other countries.
Also, in the right of this place, or most of their activities take place close to the Nile River, or valley, I keep saying river. It is because the water, and you don't have soil to be able to fertilize any type of crops or any type of grass to be able to raise cattle or anything of that sort. So anything that's close enough to this area is it's kind of sacred because they get all the nutrients and everything else that they need to make the vegetables and everything else that they need to survive. Their gross domestic product grows about 7% each year since 2006. That's actually a lower number than most other countries. The living standards continue to fall as their gross domestic product raises. They do have to provide for basic necessities, which is kind of like their welfare program, something like we have here. It's not all like it used to be with royalties and stuff like that when in Egypt, like people speak. So they have to be able to provide for people who are in poverty, and so they have programs that help and assist with that.
All right, the attractions, as most know, pyramids are the main attraction of them. Museums, and they're all located in the city of Lurak, and it's built by the pharaoh Merrisa. This is very hard to pronounce, but a lot of them are based upon all the mummification attractions, the pharaoh attractions, like she had said earlier, where they have the preservatives of all the animals, the gold, the jewelry, everything there that was in their castle before they died, and after they died is with them when they're buried. So that's one of the attractions that they show.
We have some fun facts for you guys. Okay. Egyptians actually created glass objects, which is glass blowing, because as some of you may know, that glass blowing actually comes from sand. It's basically made with heat and sand, and it creates glass. So with the areas that they're in Egypt, where it's hot with a lot of sand, they learned to make glass. Luxor and Egypt are known as the world's largest open-air museum, and this is the mummification museums that she was talking about that are in the city of Egypt. So it's not just Egypt itself. And they also invented the 365-day calendar.
All right, Egypt is the 34th largest country in the world. Pretty big to me because the United States, I think, is like 36, 37. And then some of the ancient Egyptians slept on pillows made of stone. In my opinion, that would hurt really bad.
That's not very comfortable at all.
And then the first pyramid was made out of stone, and it was built in 2650 BC. And then ancient Egyptians used to play a game very similar to today's bowling. It doesn't sound interesting at all.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? Did you guys learn stuff from today?
How do you do the Egyptian walk?
You know, it's a very good question. Would you like to stand and shake up for it?
No.
Okay. By the way, this is Fred. We wrapped him up like a mummy so you guys can see him. So we're going to pass him around so that you guys can see how a mummy body is done. See, when we did this project, we learned a lot of different things. Because personally, you laughed at me for it. I thought it was in the Eastern. I didn't know they had over 2,000 officers. I didn't know that either. But I also didn't know that it was the size of France and Germany combined. So there's a lot of different things that we learned from this today. Anybody else have any questions or want to hold the money? We have Fred back. Okay. Okay, well, thank you guys for watching.